Have you ever felt like your whole life has been a struggle? Like you've been running from your past, from people, maybe even from God? That's Jacob's story. Jacob was born into tension. Even in the womb, he and his twin brother Esau were wrestling. When they were born, Esau came out first, red and hairy, but Jacob came out right after, gripping Esau's heel. From the very beginning, he was trying to get ahead. In Hebrew culture, the firstborn son got the birthright, a double portion of inheritance, leadership over the family. But Jacob wasn't okay with second place. So years later, he found a way to get what he wanted. First, he caught Esau in a moment of weakness. Esau was starving after a hunt, and Jacob offered him a bowl of stew in exchange for his birthright. Esau agreed, not realizing what he'd given away. Later, with his mother Rebekah's help, Jacob disguised himself as Esau, wearing goatskin to mimic his brother's hairy arms, and tricked his blind father Isaac into giving him the blessing meant for Esau. It was a massive betrayal. When Esau found out, he was furious and swore to kill Jacob. So Jacob ran, far from home, far from his mistakes. For 20 years he lived in exile, working for his uncle Laban, who was just as tricky as Jacob. He married Laban's daughters, Leah and Rachel. He built a large family. He gathered wealth and livestock, but the struggle never stopped. Eventually, God told Jacob to go back to his homeland, back to the land of his father Isaac, back to the brother he had betrayed. Jacob obeyed, but he was terrified. He sent messengers ahead, hoping to soften Esau's heart. They came back with news. Esau was coming, with 400 men. That night, Jacob panicked. He divided his family into groups, hoping that at least some would survive if Esau attacked. He sent lavish gifts ahead, animals, servants, trying to make peace. Then he crossed the river and stayed behind, alone. And in that lonely moment of fear and vulnerability, someone appeared. A man. No name, no introduction. Just a sudden, intense, physical struggle. Jacob wrestled with him all night. It wasn't just a fight. It was a battle of identity, of destiny, of surrender. As dawn approached, the man touched Jacob's hip and instantly dislocated it. Just a touch. Not a punch, not a strike. Just a divine touch that said, "I could have ended this at any moment." That's when Jacob knew. This wasn't just a man. He had been wrestling with God. But instead of letting go, Jacob clung to him. And he said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." God asked him, "What is your name?" "Jacob," he replied, finally saying his name honestly without trickery, admitting who he really was. Then God said, "Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with men and have overcome." Jacob had spent his life fighting for approval, for control, for blessing. But in this moment, God gave him what he'd been chasing all along, not through deception, but through surrender. He left that encounter limping. His hip was permanently damaged, but he walked away with something far more important: a new identity, a new name, and a deeper relationship with God. And here's the beautiful truth. God didn't rebuke Jacob for wrestling. He blessed him, because God isn't looking for perfection. He's looking for people who are willing to engage, even in the struggle. So if you're in a place of wrestling, with doubt, fear, or your past, you're not alone. Sometimes the wrestling is how God brings the breakthrough. Sometimes the blessing doesn't come in the victory, but in the limp. And sometimes the struggle is exactly where God meets you, not to defeat you, but to transform you.